Hey guys, Itaewon Sammy here. Welcome. Happy September. It is September 2nd. It is a Monday. Beautiful day. So, today's topic, I went to Korean jail for 2 years. Now, that topic is a little bit, is it clickbait? I don't know, but it's not 100% true. I didn't go to jail for 2 years. I went to visit someone who was in jail for 2 years. So, sorry about that. I didn't want to scare anybody. I didn't want to scare anybody into thinking that I went to jail, because I would never do anything criminal. So, basically what I wanted to talk about is what it was like, what I heard, what it was like in comparison to what I've heard it's like in Western jails. So the differences. The person who went to jail was someone I knew, and they were Korean, and they didn't have any family or any, they had close friends and stuff, but I wanted to help support and, help this person. It was a minor thing. In Korea, basically what happens is there is no probate. Well, there is probation, but not like what we understand it in the West to be. And there's no parole. So you get convicted for 2 years, you go for 2 years. There's no time off for good behavior or anything like that. So, but what happened was, they have a different system here where you get a suspended sentence. So initially it was drunk driving, which happens a lot here in Korea. So that charge was suspended for a first-time offender. But then he was caught driving without a license. And because that was a further on offense, if that was a first-time offender, he would have just gotten a fine. But because he had the previous conviction and was still under the what I would call probation, so it happened within the 2-year term, they reinstated that charge. So it started all over again. So it was originally 6 months or something like that, or 1 year. And then what happened, there was a situation in the jail where he got into a fight and hurt someone. He was defending somebody else because that person was picking on somebody else and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, it ended up being 2 years altogether. So I was helping out and visiting. Also because the location of the jail was quite close to where I was working. So it was convenient. And it was, I felt it was the right thing to do. Anyway, so I had to go there and I had to register. And then you fill out a form. And it wasn't in English because they don't have many English visitors. Because there's a foreigner jail. In Korea, they have a jail for foreigners only. And the reason behind that, it's not for Western foreigners, it's predominantly for Vietnamese, Chinese, that kind of thing, to help them with the culture and food and rehabilitation and stuff like that. That opened a couple of years ago. Anyway, so I had to go and I had to fill in the form, and then they go get him, and then you go into this hall, into this other room, which has lots of little booths. And like in TV, you go into the booth, they're on the other side of the glass, and you talk via a microphone system. There's no physical ability to connect, not even holes in the glass. You're talking through a speaker. And you get 12 minutes, and there's a countdown clock, and then it beeps, and then the microphone stops. So you have no way of extending it or anything like that. So I would go and just say hi, visit and talk, because 2 years is a long time, and I felt it was just the right thing to do. I would also financially support, because in Korean jails you don't really get a lot of stuff. You get the basic food and the basic clothes, sort of like welfare. So I would send money, I would bring magazines, books, things of that nature, studying books and stuff like that, and donate, deposit money into his account so that he could buy extra food, extra clothes, things of that nature. So what I heard about the Korean jail was that it's overcrowded. There's not a lot to do. It's basically you sit in the cell with 8 other guys. You read, you talk. There's no TV or anything. You get the 1 hour of exercise a day. You get the shower, you get the food, and that's it. So it is hot in the summer and cold in the winter. There's no window. It's not very, in my opinion, because I haven't been to jail ever, it's not something that I don't think anyone would want. So that being said, I'm going to touch base really quickly on the criminal justice system here. It's a lot different than in the West. So here, you don't have the right to remain silent. If you do remain silent by your choice, it, in the eyes of the law, it suggests guilt. So you have to be very careful. As a foreigner, I'm going to say this: try never, ever, ever to get involved in a situation where you might be a suspect in a crime. It will never, ever go good for you here in Korea. Not that it's not a fair system, it's just a different system here. There are tons of videos out there about what happens, and the reality is that you're a guest in this country. You have to follow their rules. Don't expect to be treated differently, okay? Sometimes your word is not taken, and it happens. It happens in every country, not just here. But as a non-citizen, you don't have rights. You have to follow the laws here. And the difference being is that the police collect evidence, provide that evidence to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor decides to proceed with charges or not. And based on whether you get detained is up to the police if you are a flight risk. So being a foreigner, yeah. Now if you have a visa or permanent residency like I do, maybe it's a little bit different, but you got to be careful. I'm going to say this, you don't want to be in Korean jail. You don't want to be in trouble in Korea. I'm just going to leave it at that. It was not a pleasant experience for my friend and even myself having to go there. Not that it wasn't pleasant, it just, I could see the pain and the stress of being in jail. Obviously, in any country, being in jail is stressful and painful, but from what I've heard, a Korean jail is not any better than a Western jail. And so I'm going to leave it at that and say, people, do not get in trouble in Korea if you're a foreigner. But don't get in trouble in any country. It doesn't matter whether you're in your country or here or whatever. But I mean, I'm doing a Korean blog. So as a foreigner, I stay away from anything that I could even come close to being in trouble. I don't get myself involved in people or things that I know could lead to problems, and I don't put myself into situations. Now, you know, like for example, driving without a license, drinking and driving, running red lights, speeding, you know, traffic laws. I don't put myself into a situation where I could potentially run afoul of the law. So I keep my legal documents in order. I follow all of the rules and regulations, and I make sure I don't get involved with people or things that could be, you know, in trouble. Although, you know, you never know what might happen. You know, I'm not saying like a car accident or anything like that. That's out of your control. I'm just saying, number one, have all your legal documents. Driver's license, identification, health insurance, pension, follow all the rules, pay your taxes, do everything that a normal law-abiding citizen would do, and you'll be 100% safe in this country. I'll tell you that. One of the safest countries in the world. That's it for me today. Itaewon Sammy. I'm out.